They won.
The people of Houston wanted to see a sweep of the Utah Jazz so the Rockets would be rested before they faced the Warriors. But Donovan Mitchell had other ideas. Spida, who's been somewhat underwhelming in these playoffs thus far, scored 31 points and outscored Houston himself in the fourth quarter. Jalen Rose, what did you think about this young man's playoff performance?
These are the type of performances, as a head coach, you walk into the locker room and just write one word on the board: pride. Utah fans are amazing. They have been for a really long time. Got a chance to play there when they had Stockton and Malone. And I know there's been some hiccups with Russell Westbrook and whatnot, but when you play against teams that don't, when you play against cities that don't also have an NFL team, it's a heightened level of enthusiasm for the NBA.
That's a good point.
And so you don't want to see that fan base leave the arena after watching you get swept. That becomes like a buzzkill for a Utah team that played well in the playoffs last year, got a chance to advance. Donovan Mitchell had a breakout year, and as you mentioned, didn't necessarily have the leapfrog year along with Jason Tatum that we felt like they would do in their second year and be like all-star players. But the way he performed in the fourth quarter with his 19 big points, shooting the threes, catching lobs, playing with emotion and energy is exactly what that team needed.
So I'm going to point the attention back to the Rockets now. I feel like they are, I don't know, maybe the best chance at someone taking down the Warriors in this playoffs. And I also feel like they could have really used that rest. How important is this Game 5 in Houston? I think they're going to end up winning the series, but how important is it that they do it in the next game?
It's always important. And again, you got to give the Jazz some credit. Putting Crowder in the lineup was a big-time change. He played well. Ricky Rubio played well.
Yep.
Like, the Jazz beat Houston. And so I want to make sure I give them props. With that being said, the Rockets understood that the Warriors had already let a game slip away in their series when they were up 30-plus against the Clippers. So you lace up your kicks and you're like, we're going to sweep our series and we're going to have those extra days. And what ends up happening is the more minutes you play, the more opportunities for things to happen, like injury, like poor play. And when you get those days off, what you're really allowed to do is now add wrinkles to sets. Like, people get used to what you're running and they scout you, but all of a sudden, you got a new sideline out of bounds play, a new baseline out of bounds play, a new wrinkle to an offensive set that they can't see coming. It gives you less time to do those type of things headed into the second series.
That's a really good point, Jalen Rose. Now, I'm rooting for the Rockets because I love chaos, and I think the Warriors are the best team in the NBA, so I want someone to upset them. But I remember I was rooting for the Rockets last year. Remember Game 7 when they went 0 for 27 from 3? The Rockets can go cold, and they went a little cold in this one. In the fourth quarter, I believe they missed 13 straight three-pointers. They have these little stretches of just going cold. Jalen, what do you think about the potential, because of the style that they play, to just have a bad night and kind of completely blow a series or a game?
In a league that's three-point happy, there will be ebbs and flows with every team as it relates to their three-point percentages. The difference between the Rockets and the Warriors is that Golden State has 2 MVPs in KD and Steph. So when one of those guys aren't shooting well, usually Clay is. For the Houston Rockets, their sniper is James Harden. And then you have Eric Gordon that's making shots, PJ Tucker that's a willing shot maker from the corner, and CP3 has the ability to knock them down as well. So from that, there will be ebbs and flows where the team isn't making shots. That's when you got to diversify your offensive attack. And so I'll be interested to see when the Golden State Warriors lock up at the 3 line, like they did in the game you just described when they missed 27 straight. Will the Rockets be willing to play mid-range? Are they going to shoot runners? Are they going to shoot floaters? It can't always be 3, layup, and free throw.
It's interesting because you mentioned how the off time, which is a really good point by you, is not only do you get time to rest, which is what we always think about, you get time to add wrinkles to your game, add wrinkles to your offense, and we know what they want to do. They want to go to the line, get a layup or a dunk or shoot a 3. At some point, especially if this series against Oklahoma City, against the Golden State, which we assume is going to happen, they're going to have to add something. They're going to have to vary what they do, and it will be interesting to see if they actually do go mid-range. So, Jalen, we're going to talk about Magic, not the Orlando Magic, who will likely lose their series tonight against Toronto, but Irving Magic Johnson. He was in the news lately with a little surprise resignation from his position with the Lakers. The TMZ cameras caught up with him, and they asked him about his relationship with the Lakers and their summer. And he said that he's going to help them get free agents. He's going to help them recruit. They're going to be in a good spot, and they're going to get free agents this summer. What do you think about Irving Magic Johnson saying that even though he's not officially in the position, he's still going to help recruit free agents this summer?
Having a Hall of Fame mogul on your side is always a positive thing. He will always have the respect of anybody in the NBA, especially the players. However, when he steps down from his position and he shows up at a pitch meeting, it's a lot different than when he's the president of basketball operations. There's a separation, there's a space, there's a distance that a lot of players are going to see. And it's going to be interesting, as I've talked about, the top 4 free agents, calling them the 4Ks, I didn't think that they were going to go to the Lakers anyway. Clay, Kawhi, Kyrie, KD. So I was looking at the secondary level of free agents. Boogie got injured. Hopefully he returns from his quad injury. What's going to happen with Jimmy Butler? So I understand that it's imperative that they're able to add a second All-Star to this LeBron James-led team in his 17th year, but the recruiting looks a lot different based on the dynamics of his relationship with the team.
Yeah, it would be hard for Magic Johnson to sit in a meeting and be like, listen, being associated with the purple and gold is so important to me. Committing to this franchise is going to be the greatest thing you've ever done. You know, being in that office around this culture is so great. It's like, well, Magic, if all that is true, then how come you decommitted to this franchise? It will be interesting to see that dynamic. And when you mentioned the 4Ks, I think that there will be a K that actually signs with the Lakers this summer. It'll just be Chris Middleton, because I think he spells his name with a K as well. Jalen Rose, it is now time for News That Matters. Jalen, we've covered a lot of sort of off-field, activities of athletes, and especially some of the tattoos. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. comes to mind as someone who's had famous people tattooed on himself. Kevin Durant has Rick James tattooed on himself, amongst other luminaries. Well, this is a new wrinkle that we haven't seen yet. Jalen Rose. Ezekiel Elliott. Got Ezekiel Elliott tatted on Ezekiel Elliott. That is Ezekiel Elliott's legs. He got his own self with a crown on his head and zombie eyes tattooed on himself. Again, Ezekiel Elliott got a tattoo of Ezekiel Elliott on Ezekiel Elliott. At first, I was skeptical, but I think I like this. Jalen Rose, are you going to get a tattoo of yourself on yourself?
Roger Goodell's on the phone. That's a failed test. That's what that is, first and foremost. Of course, I'm not getting a tattoo of myself on my leg. I have plenty of tattoos. None of them say my first name or my last name, so I'm definitely not gonna get an image of myself tatted on me. It's just a failed test, that's all. I'm not gonna take it too serious, that's all.
At some point, I feel like there's got to be some onus on the tattoo artist to be like, dog, listen, this is a wonderful image. It's a great homage. And he tried to say something about it. He's like, well, what this represents is me going into a state of mind where I'm in my best performance. When people get tattoos and they just try to explain them with some BS story? That's exactly what he's gonna do about this. Ezekiel, you got a tattoo of your own face on your leg. You got a tattoo of your own face 5 feet from your face. We know what you look like. This is one of the weirdest tattoos I've ever seen. I've seen some weird tattoos covering sports as long as I have. I'm getting a tattoo of myself, my face on my face. That's next. I think that's next. Getting your face on your leg is one thing. I'm getting my face on my face, and then on that face, there'll be another tattoo of my face on my face.
I remember when it was the craze of people getting Chinese references tattooed on them that they didn't know what it meant. You know what he should have did? He might have just should have got Dak Prescott tattooed on him.
Well, Two words have kind of caused a stir in the sports world. Next question. We'll explain what that means right after you watch this. Tony Romo has not officially filed retirement papers, becoming part of the media before actually retiring as a professional athlete. Soft move or boss move?
Wrong side.
What's happening?
Baltimore.